Thank you for taking the opportunity to sign up for our version of a webinar as part of the kickoff for our Prizefighter coaching program. Now, many of you think of webinars, as you've experienced them in the past, as little teasers. Maybe individuals touch on some information, but they don't give away that much. Today, we are going to give you proven principles that can help be the difference. If you decide that group prizefighter coaching isn't for you, this video will still have a profound impact on how you think and the results you will drive in your life by shifting your focus from the results you can't control to the process that will drive results in your life. Enjoy this opportunity to dive into some of the principles that will help you by being part of our group coaching program. So with no further ado, let's hop right into it. Here are the 4 principles we're going to cover today. Attaining belief in yourself, acting with courage and integrity, truly doing great things. And we're going to break that down to a concept I call attacking the process and then leaving a living legacy. It's going to be about your legacy and what you want for your life as you write your story. So let's dive right in. Concept number 1, the first principle, attaining belief in yourself. When I say that, keep in mind, and I want you to really think about this, I'm not saying to any of you that you don't believe in yourself. When I say attaining belief in yourself, what I'm referring to is your next level of belief. Taking a look at exactly where you are in your life right now and being truthful. How did you get to where you are? What are the decisions that you have made up to this point? What is the truth of how you got to where you are right now? And what are the action steps? What's the belief that you have that's going to carry you to where you can go in the future? You see, because what I always say is that when you have a big vision, a big belief, right? Then you can cast that vision on the canvas of your imagination. But then it's your opportunity to pull it down and go to work. Because that vision will cause you to have applied pressure on a daily basis, which will help you take the action steps to get to that next level. So we'll talk about the process later. If you heard me, that's one of the future points. But let's stay on attaining belief in yourself. One of the most important things I believe that you can focus on to find the truth of where you are and to really unpack where you want to go, I'm going to share a story in order to highlight this point about my recent sharing of the stage with Ray Lewis. For those of you who know who Ray Lewis is, well, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, and recognized as the greatest linebacker to ever play the game of football, and arguably the greatest motivational leader to ever put on pads in the NFL. He and I had the opportunity to spend time together a couple of months ago. It was actually March the 6th of this year. It was a Sunday night. He was in St. Louis, Missouri. We were at the Ritz-Carlton to share some fire with my hometown community, St. Louis, Missouri. If you can picture this, Ray and I were cutting up, having a good time, sitting in the cigar club at the Ritz before we went to the big ballroom where the event was. Ray and I are sitting at this big round table, across from some leather couches, big paintings, humidors all over the walls. We're just cutting up, having a good time. And the next thing you know, in walks Will Compton. Will is the starting middle linebacker for the Washington Redskins. I've had the opportunity to mentor Will since he was an undrafted free agent out of Nebraska 4 years ago. Will walks in because I invited him that night, because I knew after I received the invitation to share the stage with Ray that Ray Lewis was the mentor in Will Compton's life that he had never met. I wanted to make sure these two had the opportunity to meet. So here's what happens. Ray gets up from his chair. Will walks right over and they engage. They shake hands, they meet. It was about 4 or 5 minutes, great energy, great passion, great conversation. Next thing you know, Ray goes back to this big table and Will and I go to sit at this big oversized leather couch directly across from Ray. Now let me share something with you. This story, it's going to be about attaining belief in yourself, vision, and what it's going to take for you to get to that next level. So after a few minutes, Ray Lewis is at his table, we're on that couch, and Ray Lewis stands up. If you've ever seen Ray Lewis videos, he's got these big eyes. I'm telling you, they will pop out. It is intense if you've ever seen some of his pregame speeches. And I witnessed this right in front of my eyes at the Ritz-Carlton Cigar Club. This intensity, he pops up, he walks right over to Will Compton, and all of a sudden he gets down. He's got hands on both of his knees. And he looks at Will and he says, "Hey, Will, you ready for me to take you to school? You ready for me to take you to school, Will?" He says, "I'm gonna share with you the difference where I found the difference for me to get to the next level in the NFL. And it's going to be the same thing. Even if you don't like sports, this will directly apply to you. This will be what will take you to the difference in your life to get to where you currently are to where you want to go. He says, Will, early on in my career, I started breaking down my own game film. And what I recognized was that it was an opportunity for me to take responsibility for myself. You see, because I knew God gave me everything I needed. It was right here in my heart. But he said I had to break down my game film to understand my opportunity to grow. And he says from breaking down that game film, here's what I noticed, Comp. He started calling him Comp, Will's nickname. It was awesome. Here's what I noticed, Comp. I was playing from 4 yards off the line. And from 4 yards off the line, I was nasty. But then I recognized if I moved up to 3 yards, they wouldn't know what to do with me, Comp. And we know the rest of the story, don't we, Comp? 2 Super Bowls. A Super Bowl MVP, as I mentioned. And the greatest linebacker to ever play the game. The difference was 1 yard. So the question I have for you, as we start this journey together, as you take part in the Trading Mastery Summit, the question I have for you is, when's the last time you broke down your game film to recognize your opportunity, where you may just find your difference, your yard, to take you to the next level? That's what attaining belief in yourself is all about. Caring enough, taking the personal responsibility to look at exactly where you are and to say, what are my opportunities? What are the things I can do to improve? Now, one key thing, don't ever trip on anything that's behind you. Focus on your belief, your vision of what's possible out there. But in order to figure out what's out there and where you can go, you got to figure out what you've done in the past that's worked. That's part of attacking the process, and that we'll come back to. So a question I have for you, if we were to take a pause right now, I'd ask you, what do you believe is possible for you? If you were to break down that game film, to find your opportunities to go to the next level, to find what's worked, to be able to compound it day over day over day, and then you coupled it with a bigger vision than you've ever thought possible for yourself, what would that vision look like? Be clear on that vision. Get fired up in your life about that vision, and recognize the key for you to have the greatest probability of achieving that vision is to try to get a little bit better every day. Keep attaining more belief in yourself after you achieve. Don't be content. Always be ready to grow and be willing to break down your game film to figure out how you can always improve. Now, this leads us into the second concept. It's called acting with courage and integrity. What does it mean? It means do the right thing. Always do the right thing. That's a choice. I learned that lesson from my mom. Now, I learned this in a way that I think you may find to be a little bit different than what you expect. You see, I'm an emotional guy. I cry when I watch Extreme Home Makeovers. So I'm going to just forewarn you, give you a little disclaimer. This might be a little tough on the ears, but it's going to help you, and it's going to highlight that lesson of acting with courage and integrity, doing what it takes in your toughest times in your life. I learned that from my mom when she was diagnosed when I was just a little boy with a rare muscle disease called amyloidosis. You may not know what amyloidosis is, but each and every single one of you in your muscles, you have amyloids. If you were to have an excess of amyloids, you would have a disease called amyloidosis. At the time of my mother's diagnosis, there were 2 hospitals in the United States treating the disease: Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, the Boston Medical Center. My mother's doctors here in St. Louis chose for her to go to Boston. So here my mother, this teacher, this single mother, divorced when I was 6 months old, boards this plane to go figure out what she needs to do to continue to fight at her highest level. She goes and meets with Dr. Martha Skinner, one of the top experts in the world for amyloidosis. And in their first encounter, Dr. Skinner looks my mother dead square in her big, brown, pearly eyes. And normally that was coupled with a big old pearly white smile. But my mother had trouble breaking that smile when she was told that she only had 2 to 4 years to live. And she was only the second woman under 40 years old they'd ever seen or heard of having the disease. We're talking about the rarest of the rare, and my mother was in the fight of her life. What did she choose to do? And what do you choose to do when you face challenge and adversity? She chose to stay connected to her purpose. So let me ask you another question. If we were to take a pause right now, and I were to ask you, what is your purpose? Would you have a clear answer? Because your purpose, when you're clear on your purpose, it'll give you an understanding of what it's going to take to fight through any pain. And if that purpose is big enough, when that pain comes, when that adversity comes, when that bad trading day comes, you will rise up and you will continue to do the things that it takes to be successful. You will keep a positive mindset. That's what my mother did. She had a journal, an old blue Mead notebook. We're actually in my home today. I wanted to bring you into my home to film this video. We're in my home. If I were to take you upstairs to my office, to go into the safe, you'd see that old blue Mead notebook. And in the pages of that journal, she wrote, beat the statistics, beat the odds, live with a disease that is chronic and fatal, believe in yourself, combat anything, purpose in life. People remember my mother's positivity. People remember the honest, loving, trustworthy woman of integrity that my mother was. But what most people remember about my mother, people that I meet who share stories about her, was her courage. You see, my mother's last year living, she used to come to our dinner table in our house every single night, without fail, with an IV stand in tow. You see, her bedroom, she had a little TV room and a bedroom, it was converted into 24-hour nursing care right in our home. Yet my mother, every night, with that IV stand, whether it took one nurse or two nurses, she would make her way down the long hallway that made it right to the head of that dining room table. And she would sit at the head of that dining room table. And she would look across at my brother and say, Drew, how was your day at school? And then my mother would pan across that table and she would look me dead square in the eyes and she would say, honey, how was your day at school? What got my mother, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, to that dining room table every single night, was her purpose and her courage. If you're connected to your purpose, you'll engage in any fight. You'll stand up after any tough trading day. You'll stay connected to that purpose based upon the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. And man, you'll keep them up just like this. And you'll take it one step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time. On November 2nd, 1986, my mother took the pen that she was writing with in her journal and she passed it on to my brother and I to continue to write the story of her legacy. That's why I'm with you right now. Because my mother's fire, her passion, her courage, her integrity, how she lived her life, is an example for my brother and for me on how to lead our children and how to lead the individuals that I'm blessed to coach and to work with every single day of my life. But you see, what you have to choose is what inspires you. See, my mother taught me to focus on solutions, not problems. I call that reframing. It's one of the most significant mental training tools we teach. It's one that resonates with people. It's just nonstop. I mean, it's just like they think about reframing, they can keep it, they can hold on to it, it resonates and they can hold it. Here's how it works. You're having a very tough day trading. All you feel like is, forget this. I'm done. I've lost already this morning. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And in your mind, just like my mother did, and if she could do this while amyloids were eating away at her muscles, I know you can do this during a tough trading day. My mother would reframe and focus on the solution. Rather than focusing on the negativity, she would focus on the solution. That was a choice. You see, she taught me the greatest life lesson I've ever learned from anybody. It's not how long you live, it's how you choose to live your life. If you choose to focus on negativity, you're going to get more negativity. If you choose to focus on positivity, you'll get more positivity in your life. That stems from a psychology principle called expectancy theory. You see, my mother taught me to reframe. She taught me to focus on those solutions. So what would that look like for you? Tough trading day? Stay focused, take a deep breath, and whatever game plan you have designed for that day, the things you intended to buy, the things you intended to sell, No matter how tough it is in the beginning, recognize if you have time and that trading floor is still open, make positive decisions, continue to work the plan that has made you successful in the past. Stay positive, believe in yourself, always rise up, understand your purpose. Because just because you have tough trades doesn't mean you won't have great days going forward. Doesn't mean you won't finish the day that you're in strong. But you have to choose to reframe and you have to choose to stay positive. My mother taught me all about integrity. She taught me all about courage. She taught me all about purpose. Now, the third principle that I want to talk to each and every single one of you about, right? It's about attacking the process. Attacking the process. Now, when I think of attacking the process, I'm going to take you all the way back to that Ray Lewis story, right? That Ray Lewis story of breaking down the game film. Because if you're to break down the game film of what makes a day for you successful, you would find all of the things that give you the highest probability of driving success. Check this out. What if you decided to figure out what motivates me on a daily basis, what keeps me going personally? And then you were to break down the game film of your trading and you were to say, what are the things that when I do them every single day, I have a game plan, I have a strategy, and I attack that strategy, I attack that process, it drives success. That would be the business aspect of it. And then the third part would be giving of yourself more every day, being of service to somebody else. Heck, it could be random acts of kindness, just giving more of ourselves. And let me tell you something, the world needs it more than ever because this is a nasty, tough world that we live in. And it's a choice to make the world a more positive place, or it's a choice to get caught up in maybe what the news channels and things want us to get caught up in. We can be part of the solution in this world. So imagine if you were to have a day that becomes your process, and rather than focusing on results that you can't control, right? Because you can wake up in the morning and you can say, I hope I make $15,000 trading today. Good luck with that because you have no control over it. But what you do have control over is having a good, sound game plan and attacking the process of that game plan. What you do have control over is doing good things in the world, following through with random acts of kindness, holding the door for people, sending thank you notes, buying a cup of coffee anonymously for the person behind you in Starbucks. It's the little things. But then also following through personally on things that you can do every single day. Maybe you would tell me if we were doing one-on-one coaching, you'd say, boy, when I get a workout in, boy, it releases my endorphins. I just feel more confident. I feel better about myself. Well, maybe it's working out every day will help you if it puts you in that mindset. And what about nutrition? What if you say, boy, when I eat right, I just feel better. I perform better. My focus is better. How important is your focus when you're trading? Think of all of the speakers that you've heard from and you will hear from as part of this summit. Do you think focus is a part of their success? Do you think having a game plan is part of their success? Do you think their ability to continue to get to the next level is being honest with themselves and attacking that process even on the days when they don't want to do it? See, because the greatest in trading, the greatest in sports, the greatest in business, they recognize they can't control the results, but they can control the daily action steps, the choices you make every day. Just like my mother said, I call that a prize fighter day. And you know what? This is probably an opportune time. I'm going to give you guys a gift. I'm going to give all of you a free gift. See, that's my problem. I always give away free gifts. I give away free stuff rather than try to sell my stuff. Check out freeplaybook.net, and each and every single one of you can download a free copy of your Mental Toughness Playbook. It's the 6 proven mental training tools that have been put to the test. All the tools we're talking about, attaining belief in yourself, reframing. What I'm talking about right now, your prize fighter day, you'll get all 6. But back to the prize fighter day. This concept of doing something personally, something professionally, and something of service to others is what's known as a prize fighter day. It's your way to measure your success daily on your effort. Not on the results that you can't control, on your max effort. What does that mean? That means if I know what I need to do every single day, it's you making the conscious choice. I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow through and do it based upon what I believe because of where I want to go. And it's not doing it occasionally, it's doing it every day. On the days when you don't want to do it, you do it. On the days when you're really excited to do it, you lock in at an even more intense level. If the market seems like it's just a bear and it's going to eat you up, you attack it. No matter what the situation, you attack the process because max effort will pay off. And just a little side note to share with you the fact that max effort does pay off. This past year, I had the opportunity to serve as the performance coach for the North Dakota State Bison. That's the team, if you're aware, they just won their 5th straight national championship. It has never been done in the history of college football at any level. When I had the opportunity to go speak to that football team for the first time, and I had the opportunity to go there because of 2 former players, a guy by the name of Michael Shepard, who now runs a financial firm, Principal Financial Group up in Milwaukee, and this guy right here, Craig Dahl, 9-year NFL veteran that I've had the opportunity to work with. He introduced me into that program. The coaches brought me in, the team brought me in. The first speech I was there, if you can picture this, sitting right in the front row, notepad, focused, ready to take it to the next level, was a guy by the name of Carson Wentz. If you recognize that name, it's because Carson was just drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles as the number 2 draft pick in the NFL draft this year. Carson was ready. This team was ready. And if you would have been there, you would have heard me talk about max effort pays off. I actually yelled to the players, max effort, they yelled pays off back to me. It became their battle cry this season. We talked about attacking the process, the importance of those daily decisions and choices. And you know what happened? After I left, after I had instilled in their minds, and here's a little foreshadow for the last step we're going to talk about, I talked to them about legacy. About taking the football that had been passed from past generations, from the Craig Dahls, the players that had come before him, the players that won championships before they had, that it had been passed to them. And it was their opportunity to protect that football and to make the right daily decisions and to attack the process every day to do something that had never been done. And on January 9th in Frisco, Texas, we all stepped onto that football field. I was on the sidelines smacking helmets, having a good time, fired up, ready to watch these boys go to war. And they took it to Jacksonville State. They won 37-13. The game was over. The confetti was coming down, the North Dakota State Bison colors. All over the field, 20,000 fans bum rushed the field. We're up on this stage, right? Live on ESPN. And Coach Kleiman, the head coach, has the reporter from ESPN pass the national championship trophy to him, and they say to Coach Kleiman, how did you do this year? You face so much adversity, so much challenge. Just like you will face challenge and adversity on your journey. But just like my mother, it's your choice to rise up. It's your choice to reframe. That football team reframed. They focused on the solutions, not problems. They said, Coach, Carson Wentz went down. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the country. He went down. He was out most of the season. You had other injuries. You lost the first game of the year. How did you do it? And Coach Kleiman said, every day we attack the process. Now, I mentioned to you this concept that max effort pays off. And I'm here to share with you that max effort does pay off. You see, this is the national championship ring that I was given for my work as the performance coach for the North Dakota State Bison. And here's what I recognize, my importance, when I look at this ring, when I think about this ring, is that this ring symbolizes a group of men that took principles that I'm sharing with you right now, and they put action behind those principles. They had big vision that they thought about, that they pulled down. They applied pressure every day to create this. But what is most special about this group is that what resonates most with them is not a ring. What resonates most with them is that this ring symbolizes the connection to the Craig Dahls, to every player that had come before them. The legacy. You see, that is what drives human performance on a whole nother level. When you connect to the story that you want to write. You see, that day when I shared with them, take the football from previous generations, hold on to that football, protect it, make the right decisions every day, fight for each other. 6 seconds of play with one heartbeat. They recognized that was their opportunity to pass the legacy to the next generation better than they found it. You see, that's the opportunity for you. See, I said leaving a living legacy. What does that mean? That means that every day you're writing your story. Just like my mother every day was writing her story in that journal. Every day you're writing your story. When you understand your purpose, your belief of where you want to go, your vision, it will cause you to act every day with courage and integrity. It'll cause you to truly do great things by attacking the process every day and staying focused on the things you can control. And maybe for you, you don't like sports. Maybe for you, your national championship ring looks like something else. Maybe it's not a trophy. Maybe it's a vision of something that you do to make the world a better place. But what you want your legacy to be is up to you because you're the author. Every single day is your choice to attack, to stay focused on the game plan that'll drive your success. Continue to go do great things. Even though we have given so much to you through this opportunity of our version of a webinar, I am so fired up about the opportunity to go to the next level with you. Because what I know about coaching is that it's the long-term accountability that will drive success. That's why we're fired up about this program. To work with you on your journey when you have that foundation of where you want to go to help you attack the process every single day. If you want more information, make sure to go and you can sign up at iwantgroupcoaching.com. We're so fired up about this opportunity to work with you.